What is up, everybody? I am Ant, and I'm joined by my friend and longtime co-host, iPhone. Introduce yourself, sir.
Carlos Caribbean Cool.
There he is, Carlos. Now we know it's him. He is here in the flesh, just not on camera, and that's totally cool. We appreciate him being here, and I appreciate you all for tuning in. We're here covering WWE Monday Night Raw from October 3rd, 2022, live in St. Paul, Minnesota. Very interesting. They were in Canada, now they're in Minnesota. So it was a very kind of quick change in scenery, I guess. But we open up Monday Night Raw with the Judgment Day, and they come down to the ring. They're supposed to take on AJ Styles and Rey Mysterio, but the Judgment Day has a message, and Finn Balor takes the mic and he says, 11 years ago, Edge was medically forced to quit, but against odds, he came back for all of you. But you can only outrun fate for so long. He said, what? Judgment catches up to all of us. Um, I will be the cruel hand of fate at Extreme Rules and show Edge he doesn't belong in the same ring with me. I'm going to beat Edge so bad he will be down and out, and I will force him to quit. Then Damian Priest says, let that serve as a notice to anyone. Judgment Day will always rise to the top. And then Rhea whispers something in Dominic's ear. And Dominic says, Hefe, which Carlos, I'm assuming that means dad.
Boss. Or I guess that's like different way of playing, but like I guess you could say it's dad or something.
Okay.
But it's meant to say boss.
Okay. So he says, Hefe, I hate you so much. You lied to me my entire life. I have a new family now thanks to the Judgment Day. And then Finn Balor says, my old friend AJ Styles, I could have ended your career, but I didn't. You're my friend. He says, I'm not a bad guy, but don't make me do bad things. So some strong words there by our good friend Finn Balor. So Rey Mysterio and AJ Styles come out and they clear house to start the match. And here are just some quick notes on this match. Rey nails a Hurricane Rana to Finn into the corner and nails a seat of senton. Finn hits three amigos to Rey and gets a 2 count. Priest drops Rey face first onto the apron. AJ nails a Pele kick to Damian Priest. Rhea then pulls Rey Mysterio off the apron as Judgment Day double team AJ Styles. And then Dominic gets in Rey's face and tells him to hit him. But Rhea takes out Rey Mysterio with a clothesline. And then Finn hits a coup de grace to AJ Styles and gets a 3 count. After the match, AJ Styles yells at Rey Mysterio and blames him and pushes Rey to the mat. Interesting developments. Then Judgment Day attack AJ Styles. Balor punches AJ and tells him, I'm your only friend. And then Damian Priest hits AJ with the South of Heaven. So, what are your thoughts on the match and just Judgment Day wrecking havoc on Rey and AJ Styles afterwards? A lot of stuff to unpack here. What do you think?
It was a good opening promo. I'm glad that they're like kind of like using Finn Balor. It's like kind of like the leader of the group. Like he seems like he got most of the power of the group.
Yep.
Um and yeah, and like him Dominic saying I hate you, that's kind of like that hit hard. The way but yeah, the match was good. I like seeing AJ and Rey Mysterio tag team. That was pretty good. They have good connection. But I was surprised seeing AJ push Rey like that. It seems like he might be joining the dark side soon.
That's what I was so you think he's gonna be joining Judgment Day soon?
Maybe. I mean, AJ hasn't been a face for too long. When did he like turn, like not too long ago? I think.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I think maybe like
A little bit before WrestleMania.
yeah. I'd say like maybe like
When when
February.
when Omos dropped him.
hmm Well, I'm interested to see what's gonna happen with Rey Mysterio and AJ Styles after that. We know that AJ is gonna want Finn Balor, but let's move on to the next segment. We see Bobby Lashley backstage, and he is challenged by Mustafa Ali. And Ali says he's stepping to the front of the line. And Lashley pretty much says, I'll tell you when it's a good time for me to fight you. And Ali pretty much grabs Bobby Lashley and points in his chest and says, I'm telling you, I'm not asking you for this match. And he says, I'm demanding it. And then Bobby Lashley accepts. Good to see Mustafa Ali on TV again. He hasn't been on for a while, so he will get his shot at the title later on. Uh,
Yeah.
We then see Sami Zayn backstage with the Usos and Solo Sikoa, and they laugh. And Jey Uso says, "We need to get serious." And Jimmy tells Jey to calm down. And then that kind of, I caught notice of that, and I thought that was a little interesting there. They confront the Street Profits, and they tell the Street Profits that they will acknowledge the tribal chief next week when Roman Reigns is on the season premiere of Raw. They laugh at Ford's hurt foot and basically say, "We'll do the same to your other foot if you mess with us." And then Angelo Dawkins challenges Jey Uso, or he challenges one of the members of the Bloodline to a match tonight. So we're seeing more sort of cracks in the Bloodline here backstage. You might not interpret it that way, but what do you think here? The Bloodline, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, they're all going at it here.
Yeah, I do see little cracks in there. So like when they were like joking around backstage, Jay, I noticed that Jay looked at Jimmy like he really wants like just knock him out or something. I noticed some like the other Usos might be splitting up. Yeah, I have been hearing rumors for like years that the Usos might like one day like split up, but I would never like believe it. Like they've been together for so long, like seeing the Usos split up, that would be like huge, crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like who would be the face, who would be the heel? That would be pretty insane. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. But it seems like Sammy's cool with Jimmy and Solo.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see all that unfold because, like you said, who's going to be good, who's going to be bad. What is going to that mean, good or bad? Does that mean, who knows?
I want to see Sammy versus Roman.
Something I want to say, Carlos, I don't know if you know about this. This is really random, but I found out that one of the new creative writers for WWE is a former, I don't know if he's director or producer for the Marvel movies. So we might get a lot more drama in these storylines, or maybe more, I don't know, something. So that's something just to take note of as you're watching to see if there's any changes in that way.
Okay.
But let's move on now. We have the WWE United States Championship match. The champion Bobby Lashley, the Almighty, defending against Mustafa Ali. Bobby nails a belly-to-belly toss to Mustafa Ali, a neck breaker, and then a delayed suplex, and he gets a 2. Ali nails a flying tornado DDT and dive onto Bobby Lashley outside. Lashley hits Ali with a flatliner, and he gets a 2 count. Ali nails a springboard 450 splash to Bobby Lashley's arm and a drop kick to Lashley. Lashley's able to nail a one-arm slam and a modified slam, and he still gets a 2 count. Ali then slaps Lashley in the face. Lashley tosses Ali outside and runs him headfirst hard into the post twice. Lashley then military press slams Ali over the timekeeper's area. However, Ali's able to break the 10 count, but he is met with a beautiful spear, spinning Ali inside out. And then Lashley applies a hurt lock, and Ali passes out. After Bobby Lashley looks like he's about to acknowledge Ali for the match they had, but Rollins attacks Bobby Lashley, nails a stomp, and then another stomp, this time on top of the United States title. So what do you think about the match? And Seth Rollins is coming after that U.S. title, huh?
Who's that? He said?
Well, so I said, like, with it seems like Seth Rollins is gonna.
You got to the part where Seth Rollins attacked him, right? Already?
Yeah. So pretty much, So, like, do you think? What do you think? Do you think that Rollins,
once he's done with Riddle, then I think he's gonna start something with Lashley. I think they just started this now, just like because like they already have plans after Riddle. Mm-hmm. Riddle's gonna be probably done with him. Then Lashley's gonna start something. But I was surprised that Mustafa Ali did last as long as he did, because he got a pretty good. He got some good moves in there. He possibly injured his arm. You could tell like there he did a couple things like Lashley that like I'm like wow.
Yeah.
But I'm not really the biggest fan of Ali. But like he does well.
He's like a one-trick pony, right? It's like he comes back for a title match, and then it's like he loses, and he's gone for a couple months, and he comes back for another title shot.
I mean, he didn't want to get released. I don't know, maybe if his mind changed once Triple H got control. But like I guess maybe he's just waiting it out.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
I honestly think he's just waiting it out. Honestly, might be like waiting it out to see like until his contract
Until it
expires.
expires. Well, we don't have to wait long for this. We'll talk about this and we'll take our quick break. Seth Rollins is still in the ring after the commercial break, and he says, now that we cleared Bobby Trashley from the ring, we can get on with the festivities. He goes, this Saturday, I will have a match that's synonymous with me, the Fight Pit. And then we get a very cool video package of the Fight Pit where we get the rules. You can only win by knockout or submission. And then we see Seth Rollins again. And he says, I'm going to show Riddle that I am the most dangerous man in the history of this industry. Riddle, I know you're back there. Scoot yourself down here. And then Riddle comes out. And Riddle says, let me remind you, you've never been in a fight pit. And Rollins says, we have a no contact clause tonight. He says, so I'm not worried about anything like that. And Riddle says, don't worry. I'm going to kill you this Saturday. When I'm beating your lifeless body, fans won't be singing your song. It's going to be bro. And then Rollins gets pissed.
That was kind of cringe. The way
Yeah.
I don't know. At first it was, but then
Yeah. Rollins says Cormier is going to have my back. He's a fan of Seth Rollins. And then he says, do you sing like that to your kids to sleep at night? And he says, that's right. You're not allowed to see your kids anymore, can you? He says, we have a big money match and child support is expensive these days. So then Riddle ends up saying, when's the last time you held a title? He says, you have a main event at WrestleMania, but your wife did. He says, you come up second to Roman, Becky, and he says, this Saturday, you will come second to me. And then we see Daniel Cormier. He shows up on the Titantron, and he says, only one of you will walk out victorious, train hard and smart, and, be ready for this Saturday. And Seth Rollins, before he goes to leave, he knocks off Riddle's hat, and then he leaves. So, Carlos, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to get your thoughts on that epic promo between these two. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. This is really strange because we recorded yesterday and something happened, and we are now in the future finishing up our episode of Raw, and we have a guest who, it's Halloween. It's Halloween season. People sometimes like appear, disappear. Like, I'm about to disappear for a moment. Introduce yourself, sir.
This is Tyler Peters, and as Ant disappears, I'm joining him and Carlos. You're not seeing double or triple vision. I'm a special guest as they recap Raw, and just happy to be here, gentlemen. And I'll tell you what, this is going to be a fun episode. I know you already started it, and I'm just happy to be here while you finished it.
Yep. Thank you, Tyler. And obviously, Carlos is here with me. He's just going by iPhone.
Oh,
and
you're welcome.
Just to clarify, everybody, to let everyone know, I'm a little under the weather, so I sound a little bit. I look a little bit, and that's cool. We're gonna kick it.
I think you look great.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We're gonna kill the game. We're gonna finish Raw. So we just got done talking about Seth Rollins' promo with Matt Riddle. They were just basically going over the fight pit. Rollins made the comment to Riddle like, "Oh, you can't sing to your kids to sleep at night because you're divorced now. You don't have custody."
I wonder what would have happened if they would have ended up fighting. Wouldn't they have canceled the match?
Yeah, because they have a no contact clause. So if they touched, like they did this back in 01 with Triple H and Stone Cold, they couldn't touch each other going into their No Way Out match, and they would just
or also John Cena and JBL.
Yeah, so they would fuck with each other. They'd find ways to irritate one another, kind of like Rollins pushing Riddle's hat off his head. But yeah, so what do you guys think about this? It's pretty much just a promo leading up to this match. Do you think Rollins is going too far with this promo, or are you happy that they're bringing the reality into this storyline?
I like the reality brought into the storyline. I think it intensifies everything and makes everything personal, like we've stated before on here. I think it's important for the build-up to Extreme Rules to have that type of stipulation. So I'm fine with them having these segments. It makes me excited.
Me too. How about you, Carlos?
I also agree. I like the intense segments. Like they're putting that they do have personal issues that they don't really like each other in real life. But I feel like it was a little much. Keep adding the child support, the child stuff. They already did it once. I don't think they should have done it again. I don't know.
Yeah.
They could have went a different route, talking about like what Riddle said about the body shaming, like his wife saying that like they could have went a different route, but like they have to keep mentioning the kids. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think, sometimes
Except Ron, he could have said something else. He has he's good at insults. He's very good at insults. So like he could have said something else, but that was cool though.
Oh,
but I think
good.
Seth probably knows that that's the one thing that he can say to Riddle that will always piss him off. Whereas he might say something else and it's not going to be as much of an effect on him.
Yeah, it gets inside his head. It's all about that the mind games, that mentality, to your point.
Yes, sir. Well, speaking of mind games, we're going to talk about this really quick because I'm sure we could dive into an hour conversation about this segment. We see Candice LeRae walking backstage and she sees Asuka, Bianca Belair, and Alexa Bliss. And while she's walking, the screen begins to fade and we get a QR code with it was weird. It was like a picture, and if you clicked on the different buttons, there was different things. And they just basically wish her luck. Carla slowed it down and showed me there's like a little screenshot of the Fiend over Alexa Bliss's head. But I found this little thing on the web, and this is from, I don't know, I have to look up. I'll put it in later, but it says the rabbit icon file name includes a phone number. Calling that number gets you a message. And if you play that message backwards, you'll hear Bravo, Echo, Lima, Alpha, India, Romeo. I am the way into the city of woe. I am the way into eternal sorrow. So basically, more than just a callback to the Shield's entrance, the phonetic alphabet letters spell out Bel Air. If I were Bianca, I'd watch my back around Bliss. But this is also being interpreted as a reference to the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, who was born and raised in Philadelphia, which is the home of Extreme Rules. So I don't know if this is supposed to be an attack on Bianca Belair because the thing only showed up there. But what do you guys think about this QR code and all this stuff going on? As it disappear again? One moment.
I'll let Carlos go ahead.
It's exciting. They keep building it up. I feel like something is definitely gonna happen. But Bianca should watch her back, honestly. Because Alexa Bliss did say that she's eventually gonna go after Bianca.
Yeah, it's very compelling. I think Alexa could turn on Bianca, and also the significance of it being Philadelphia, where Extreme Rules is. Now, could this just be another big tease, and maybe we don't get Bray Wyatt or whoever this White Rabbit character is going to be till later on? Is another facet that we tend to forget and overlook because we get so excited. I'm just like all the fans. I want it to be Bray, but what if it's not? I mean, because there's other clues and other personas. Speaking of wrestlers that are all about the what if scenario or situations. So I think Bianca could be in trouble. I think a lot of the matches could be at stake, depending on, Karrion Kross, Drew McIntyre. And I know we'll get into that in the Extreme Rules predictions, but there's just a lot of compelling aspects to it.
I'm interested. And also, another fun fact, I guess Spotify just recently posted Bray Wyatt's theme song back on their streaming platforms. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they would have put it on there for no reason.
Yeah, there's more to it than meets the eye, as the old saying goes, I believe.
We'll see. Well, moving on, we see the Miz is on the phone. He's talking to Maryse, and they're basically setting up his celebration for his birthday next week. And we see Dexter Lumis behind Miz. He tries to grab him, but Miz is able to walk off before anything can happen. And that's really it for that segment. There's really not much to talk about there. Funny to see, Dexter Lumis popping up, but he shows up later on tonight, and we'll talk more about it then. Our next match, we have the one half of the women's tag team champions, Dakota Kai. She has the other half, Iyo Sky and Bayley, taking on Candice LeRae, who made her main roster debut last week on Raw. Thank you, Carlos.
Thanks, buddy.
Candice nails a springboard crossbody to the outside on top of Dakota. Dakota hits a scorpion kick. However, Candice nails a big boot to the face of Kai. Dakota Kai then nails a big boot to Candice on the top rope. Candice nails a German suplex off the top to Dakota. Iyo gets on the apron. Bayley nails Candice, and Dakota Kai rolls up Candice LeRae. So Damage Control getting the better of Candice LeRae, sending a message to Bianca Belair like, you better have some backup because they're going to be there at Extreme Rules. What do you guys think?
I think it's great for damage control to build up their momentum. I think, Candice LeRae got the win in her debut on the main roster, which is a happy moment. I congratulate her. But you still don't go over Bayley's group, even Dakota Kai being, a champion. To me, that's smart booking. And it's easy for me to say that knowing the result. But I'm going to stand by that so I look intelligent.
Okay, well, you are intelligent, so you don't need to look it.
Oh, well, thank
Carlos,
you. I'm blushing.
good. Carlos, how about you?
I feel like Candice should have won. I don't know, like she just came back last week, and then like they just have her lose her second match. I think that kind of made her look weak, I guess. But I'm sure they have plans for her like in the future. But yeah. I feel like she should have at least won or like put up more of a fight.
I agree. It was kind of a quick match, but it was kind of 3-against-1, to be fair.
Yeah, the odds were against her, so I think that's why she lost. I think
But
that's the logic.
listen, damage control, they're going to get theirs, I think. We then see Johnny Gargano. He walks past The Miz, who is passed out, and there's a poster of The Miz next to Dexter Lumis. What do you guys think about this? Is this still funny? Is it too much? What do you think?
Go ahead, Carlos.
Go ahead, Carlos. Yeah.
I enjoy like the like backstage attacks and like the sneak attacks and all that. But I would like to see Dexter Lumis like speak or have a match or something. Like how long are they gonna continue this whole thing? Like eventually we're gonna see Miz versus Dexter Lumis, but like I want to see like I don't know.
I think all it is they're just building the psychology of Dexter Lumis. That's why they're not rushing it. I actually like it, part of me, the patience they're having with the whole Lumis angle and the Miz. So it's very interesting. I want to get Ant's thoughts as well, but you brought up a great point, Carlos.
But I'm glad that, like they're continuing like his actual character that he did in NXT. Like they didn't really change anything about him. Like he's always been that same. But like I just want to see him like wrestle, like actually have a match. That's all.
I think for me, like I get the whole kind of psychology part of it because I like that they keep leading up. For me though, I kind of want to get some answer at a little bit. Like we have no answer as to why he wants to go after the Miz, and I get Miz is an asshole, but like then anyone can go after him because he's like, what did he do to Dexter Lumis specifically that made Lumis want to stalk him? Is it because he's good looking and Lumis is attracted? What is it? We don't know. We just know that Lumis keeps wanting to rub his face and just like sit there. That's all we know. So I just want to get some kind of answer because this has been going on now since like the summer. So
yeah, for a while.
I mean, I kind of want some answers, not the whole thing, but like at least like why is Lumis after the Miz? At least give me that.
Just give you some teases.
Give me something. Well, Bayley gives us something. She's talking backstage, and she tells Bianca Belair that tonight will be just her and Bianca in the middle of the ring to sign their contract. And Bianca asked for this, so we'll talk more about the contract signing in a little bit. We then get our next match: Johnny Gargano taking on Otis, who has Chad Gable and Mr. Money in the Bank Austin Theory with him, who joins commentary. Some quick notes: Otis nails an elbow to the face of Johnny. He nails a body slam and a Canadian backbreaker hold to Gargano. Otis runs into the post by accident, and Gargano nails an enziguri, which just stuns Otis. Otis misses a Vader bomb, and Gargano kicks Otis, but is met with a clothesline. Gargano dives on the Otis and Austin Theory outside and nails a tornado DDT to Otis on the outside. However, Austin Theory ends up nailing Johnny Gargano with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and Otis nails the World's Strongest Slam, and he defeats Johnny Gargano. Wow, Johnny Wrestling and Candice Wrestling are having a good night tonight on Raw, the couples. What do you guys think here? Are you happy that Otis and American Alpha continue to sort of like, I like that they're building them up as a tag team. I like that because we don't have any solidified tag teams. I like that they're getting wins, but I guess this question might be the same for Candice. Do you think it's too soon for Gargano to lose? So one of you guys can figure out who to answer first.
No, I don't think so because you brought it up, and I think they've got to build up Otis and Gable, the Alpha Academy. I don't know that it's going to really hurt Gargano because he's in a big program. He's got Owens, he's had McIntyre, and to me, he's going to get those wins back. So that's all I look at it from that standpoint, and that's what I'm going to add.
Okay. How about you, Carlos?
So the thing with me is like, it felt like Otis and Chad Gable were gonna break up a couple weeks ago. So I feel like they were like in a couple maybe like 2-3 weeks ago. I felt like they were like in a limbo, like they don't even know like what they're doing with them. And out of nowhere, they just like start like winning matches again because I guess like Theory joined them. I don't know like what exactly is like going on, but I don't know. I feel like Johnny Gargano shouldn't be losing at all yet.
Okay.
I don't know. I think he's a bigger star than both of them combined. So like he should at least like get some wins.
Okay. Well,
but one thing though that's good. Like I think Otis and Chad Gable have been like a good team for like a long time. Like they've been together for a while. So like I'm glad that they're at least getting some wins. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean they need some kind of win. But speaking of this, we have the other component of Alpha Academy, the other member, Chad Gable taking on Braun Strowman. Braun finally getting his hands on Gable. I don't really have a lot of notes for this match, but Otis tosses Braun over the announce table. This is a really cool moment. Chad Gable nails a bridging German suplex to Braun, which the only other person to do that to Braun, I think, is Brock Lesnar.
No, you're right.
Chad Gable gets a 2 count. However, Braun gets the win after a huge powerbomb 3 count. What do you think?
I think it was impressive just doing the bridging suplex that you were mentioning, that Gable shows his strength. I mean, the guy can pick up a person that massive in Braun Strowman, and I don't mind Braun coming back, and having an impact on the Alpha Academy. We've seen that over the course of a few weeks, maybe more than a few now. So I enjoyed it. I thought for what it was good, and it just continues the feud between Strowman and the Alpha Academy, Gable and Otis. So that's my take, boys. I know you've got the theme music, and now we're in trouble. We're like Alpha Academy. Oh, it's Braun behind me. I'm in the ring.
Watch out. He's there.
I'm scared. I wouldn't be sitting here so calm if he was. Trust me. So.
How about you, Carlos? What are your thoughts?
It was an okay match. That was definitely a moment when Chad Gable give him the German suplex in the match. Mm-hmm. But Braun's okay. He's all right. He's not my favorite, but I'm glad that they did get rid of the train noise in the beginning of the song.
Oh yeah, that weird noise thing. Yeah. Speaking of weird noises, which doesn't really make sense for this segue, but Bobby Lashley's backstage and he says that he's going to put his title on the line next week against Seth Rollins if he survives the fight pit. So Seth has a U.S. title shot. Happy about that,
I'm happy about it.
He hit the curb stomp on the title to Lashley this week. So I mean, Lashley wants his revenge. I get it. Well, I'm going to cover this really quick, and then we're going to take our last break of the evening, and we're going to cover our main event. But let's talk about this segment. Bayley comes to the ring, and then Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair comes out, and Bayley says, "You wanted this, right? You feel great." And then Bayley signs and says, "Look at what your ego got you into. The ladder is symbolic for my entire WWE career. Unlike you, I had to climb and climb to get to the top." She says, "I was you, ponytail and all. Those signs used to say Bayley. There used to be headbands. There used to be the side ponies. Those signs changed and the cheers faded. They gave up on me and stopped caring. And I fell further and further." And as Bayley continues to talk, Bianca says, "Shut up." Bianca signs it and says, "You run your mouth over and over again. You have a chip on your shoulder, but it doesn't have anything to do with me." She says, "You will never be me. The difference with you and me is you pretended to be someone you're not." She says, "Me, this is the real me. You didn't evolve. You became the real you." She says, this is Bianca, "As far as your plan, congratulations. I don't need a plan. I stay ready so I don't have to get ready." And Bianca says, "You could plan on still calling me champion after Extreme Rules." And Bayley says, "Well, my girls will be by my side." And then we see some footage of Damage Control attacking Alexa Bliss and Asuka backstage. Bayley then attacks Bianca Belair. However, Bianca is able to get the upper hand. She runs back and she checks on Asuka's leg because there was a chair like in between her leg, I guess. So then Bliss gets mad and she challenges Iyo Sky to a match tonight. So a lot to unpack. Let's take
a side of Bliss that we haven't seen in a very long time.
Yes, dude. Yes. We'll talk about this. Let's take a quick break and we'll come back and talk about the segment. We have Solo Sikoa in action. Wow.
I can't say that name.
And then we also have our main event. Alexa Bliss.
I just say Solo. That's it.
Solo. All right, y'all. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back, y'all. Yes, that was the last commercial break, whatever you want to call it, for the episode. So we were just talking about Bayley's promo on Bianca Belair. I really I like how they're using the ladder as more of a symbol than just this is a ladder match. She's really making you like understand why she picked this match. It's not just, oh, we're gonna fight in a ladder match. Because at first I thought it was going to be like I won my first SmackDown Women's title in a Money in the Bank match, which is why I thought she was going to use the ladder. But
Money in the Bank pay-per-view.
Yeah, but I liked her story, how it was different. Like, I had to climb. And I also liked how she said, I was you, ponytail and all, because it was. I forgot about the side pony.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
There was a fair comparison.
What do you guys think? Do you think that Bayley kind of won me over with that promo? I mean, you guys can talk about whatever you want from that segment, but what did you guys think of it?
I liked it. I thought that Bianca and Bayley having the back and forth was good. And, Bayley makes you convinced she is going to walk out the champion. And there's a lot of merit for that because she's come back from injury. Bianca's had it in a while. Now, that doesn't mean, if it's the right timing for Bianca to lose the belt, but it sure makes you think. And I just like the exchanges. I think it's just good in psychology. I go back to that word, but it's so crucial when you're talking wrestling. So it all fits. And I thought it was a good segment. So I'm going to go to Carlos.
It was a good contract signing. I like how Bayley did bring that up, that she was like, she had side ponytail in the past. Like she doesn't really bring that up much. Mm-hmm. So like she doesn't really bring up her past so too much. I don't know why. Maybe it's like it's a thing like they don't want to like really talk about it, but I was surprised that they brought that up. And yeah, it's gonna be intense. But I honestly don't see. I'm gonna save this for the predictions, but okay. I think it might be a little mistake having Alexa Bliss at ringside. For the match. They're both gonna be ringside, right? Both teams are gonna be at ringside.
It says, I don't know if that's a good idea. Yep.
I don't know if it's a good idea. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, again,
but Bianca's last title run wasn't the greatest. I mean, she was fighting Sonya Deville a couple times, and like I feel like her SmackDown Women's Championship match, the reign was better than this.
Okay.
Bianca's definitely a top star. This is not going to be the last time she's going to be a champion.
I do like, though, how they are similar, like not exactly, but Bianca, headlined NXT, so did Bayley. The references to their gear and their attire and how the fans love them.
I don't think Bianca was like, I wasn't watching NXT at the time, but I don't think she was like the top star of NXT.
No, she was like other women's champion, but she was.
I think there was like other women. There was other women that were like on a higher level than her at NXT at that time. Like Rhea Ripley, I think was higher than her. Like Shayna. There was
100%, 100%. But for being a world-class athlete at that time, I
don't think she became like the big star till the main roster debut. Like then I think that's when she like officially like got out her shell.
She had to have some sort of like, I hear what you're saying. She probably got more notoriety being on the main roster, but I think that for her to even be called up, there's a reason for it. And she's called up, and within how long was that she called up? Did she have like a WrestleMania match?
I mean, I think she was like on. She came in after WrestleMania 36. But then she went back to NXT for a little bit. Then she came in again. She was like on and off, and then she finally debuted and all that.
Yeah.
She went back to NXT after that WrestleMania.
I think
WrestleMania 36. She like did something with. Remember when?
you're talking about the women's battle royal, yeah.
When
I got you.
Whatchamacallit, Zelina Vega poisoned Montez Ford. She was there, and then that was her husband. That was like she was like on and off there. She was like on screen, off like little by little. Like I guess like they were trying to find a way to like how the fans feel about her. And like once the Thunderdome era debuted, then I think they brought her up. And then,
the other thing too with Bayley that we have to also recognize is when NXT, she was sort of like the nooks and cranny of NXT, right? She was sort of like the Hulk Hogan, not Hulk Hogan, but like, when NXT first came on, it was very bare bones.
The black sheep of the black sheep, I guess. I don't know. Like she was like
I mean more like there wasn't really a lot for her to take on in NXT at the time because it was like she was fighting like people who weren't really. She wasn't fighting Rhea Ripley, she was fighting like
Bayley was fighting like Sasha, fighting Becky.
Yeah,
Charlotte,
but at that time they weren't like they were also earning their stripes too because it wasn't until like 2015 when they had that Brooklyn match that I really think that the women's wrestling NXT people paid attention to. I think before that they did, but I think that it was more like we looked at it as like, okay, Charlotte's gonna fight Summer Rae, great. Charlotte's gonna fight. It wasn't really they're fighting Oksana, Alicia Fox, like they weren't fighting. Rhea Ripley or fucking, like people
Rhea Ripley wasn't even a thought then.
Yeah, it made people invest in it. What you guys are saying after
that
takeover.
Around that time, Rhea Ripley wasn't even around then.
Yeah, well, that's my point. That's my whole point. Like, she wasn't able to take on people like Rhea Ripley, so I don't really think Bayley's NXT run was that phenomenal. I think she did okay.
I think Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte are big stars enough to like that Bayley was fighting them. I remember that Fatal 4-Way match they had. They all like fought each other.
I mean, if you were to at that time,
we could all think differently.
No, true, but I think at that time though, like if that year was when did they have that match? 2015. The only person, the Divas champion at that time was Nikki Bella. So people weren't really looking at women's wrestling until it was a great, phenomenal match. But unless you were tuning in every week online on the network, you wouldn't be able to appreciate it. Whereas if you go on USA Network, you're seeing Nikki Bella, who's doing okay, but not doing the level of matches that they're doing in NXT.
Nikki Bella's just beating everybody. But I get what you're saying now.
Yeah.
So you're saying after the Brooklyn match that they had, that's when they started caring.
I think so. So I think it's hard. It's a hard.
I started caring a little bit before then, but we could all like think differently, But
well, I think also with you, I think you're a wrestler. You're like a wrestling historian fan, so you're someone who would want to watch those.
I didn't care. I didn't care like about the Divas matches, like the Braun Penny match. I started caring once AJ Lee like won the Divas Championship and she like started like making it different. Like I think she started the whole thing. Like, but like, well, you could like, huh?
What was her finishing move called?
She had the Black Widow and
Widow. That's it.
But I think AJ Lee AJ Lee broke the glass ceiling of like you don't have to be pretty, you don't have to be this, you don't have to be a model, you don't have to be this, you can be different. And like a lot of people like followed that, and you'll speak to like women wrestlers these days, they'll say that AJ Lee inspired them. A lot of people are inspired by AJ Lee to become like wrestlers. A lot of people.
That's true. She did inspire a lot of the new generation. But I'm with you guys. I was just listening. It was a great dialogue because, the thing is, I was picking up on the sense of competition. People viewed NXT more seriously than they did the main roster. And that's with respect to Nikki Bella, who you were referencing, because let's face it, she wasn't the athlete like Charlotte or Sasha or Bayley, or those were. I mean, I
think she improved.
Yeah,
during
definitely.
The Divas Championship helped her a lot improve. But like her 2016 SmackDown Live run, I think was like the best thing I ever seen out of her.
Yeah, that was a monumental run for sure.
The 2016 SmackDown Live stuff. That was pretty.
I will say I am.
Yeah, it was historic.
that we're giving this much attention to two females. So that's very good that like it just shows you how far they've come, because back in the day you'd spend like what 2 minutes on a female match, if not.
You wouldn't pay attention to it as
I
much.
know.
And they made you want to focus on it because of the storytelling, how polished the wrestling was. It was a lot of just good intangibles that they possessed.
We would be like, oh, Kelly versus Eve Torres, or freaking Melina versus, I don't know, Mickey James, I guess. But I think Beth Phoenix
Of course, I was watching.
Huh?
Yeah.
I was viewing it. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, I would watch it, but like it wasn't like, it wouldn't gravitate me toward, like, I was like, when's this gonna finish already? Like, when's it gonna be over? And then remember when they would like do the wheel, like spin the wheel, like remember when they do? I think it was like the draft or something, or like spin the wheel, like when they would like there was an option like for a pillow fight. I was like, oh my god, what the heck's going on here? But then like I think it never happened, right? Did they ever have a pillow fight match?
I mean, I'm sure back in the day. I don't know.
Probably did at some point.
Back in the day, they had like lingerie pillow fights. Even at WrestleMania, they had a Playboy pillow fight.
And I probably DVR'd it.
Like my mom would have let me watch that. Like she would have. I was maybe like 9, 10 when that time was happening. You know, like, my mom would have let me watch that. Like she, and then like once it's over, all right, come back. It's on. But like I think it started changing like 2013 when AJ Lee won the title. That's when I think I started viewing women's wrestling differently.
Listen.
But then Paige also had like a big impact on women's wrestlers too.
I love how Tyler laughs.
I'm just laughing because I'm making fun of myself as Carlos is trying to be more serious and professional. I'm thinking about Braun and his matches. I'm terrible. I do respect the great wrestling, but I'm no better than Jerry Lawler. I was happy about those kind of matches. You know, I can admit I
know Jerry Lawler would always be like, hey, like, oh my god, the puppy's out. The freaking pervert.
Well, shucky ducky, quack quack.
I like the king. Yeah. Now, what's your complaint going to be when Booker T does that?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. You know, he makes it funny. I don't know.
Yeah, but you gotta think about see also too during that. That's why like I'm glad that they have these shows, because like during that time like everything like on the mainstream was a lot more edgier. They were making more like in your face, like Celebrity Death Match. The Real World was just becoming more popular. All these sort of like heavy metal, rock music, rap music, everything was becoming more gritty, like anti-hero. So of course it's gonna be more sophomoric and puppies and like stupid, and like as an adult we look at it and we're like stupid. But for the time it fit, because we at that time we all were like puppy, like like it was a different time.
DX was doing it, and
I mean you guys think about like you guys were different ages than I was. I was like 9 or 10 when that was happening, so I didn't really understand.
A lot younger, Carlos, than 9 or 10 in 19.
That's why like maybe 8. I started watching when I was 8.
Yeah, but how old were you in 1999, Carlos?
I wasn't even alive yet.
Well, there you go. So
I'm talking about my 2008, 2009. That stuff was still happening.
Yeah, but not as bad as
like. There was worse. Oh hell no! That was
go
worse.
back in time. It
was
more prevalent.
I remember one thing. There was like a bull riding one, a bull riding contest. That's when I was watching. I think it was like.
Carlos, they had a even get match where the girl after the match, the cat, she like took off her and she showed her nipples on pay-per-view. I'm like,
oh my god!
Yes, they did this. This was
WWE was more of a porno than the fucking wrestling. The fuck?
Look at Val Venus. He was a porn star. That was his whole character.
He was. I mean, if you look back on the show that Ann has allowed me to be a part of, the Attitude Years, I mean, you'll see that's not a first.
But like these days, WWE wouldn't be able to get away with that type of stuff.
Well, it's a different generation. We don't really, we have a different thought on it. Now you have to be careful, if you identify someone as something that they don't identify as, you have to be careful of,
I think the closest thing we've seen to like something like sexual is like when Reginald gave Sasha Banks a fucking rose. That's the closest thing that we've seen to like, I guess, freaking.
Well, I mean, the couples make out with each other. Like Maryse and Miz make out with each other all the time. I mean, that's, And look at Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose's whole character is, and she's an awesome wrestler, but her main character is that she's a sexy vixen and that she can kick ass. I mean, that's
Yeah,
what
that's
her,
I think
personality.
NXT and like WWE are like two different. I don't know. I think the two different things. Because like I think NXT is more edgier
Mhm.
than like the main roster stuff. Honestly,
And they probably are. And they
like
still,
look at Nikita Lyons. You saw
yeah,
if you
that's
saw
true.
a couple weeks ago. What's her name? The tag team champions in NXT right now. She smacked her ass. Like literally in there, and then like I don't know if you guys saw that. Like she's
Smack
there.
that ass, girl.
I
Smack it.
didn't get a chance
Back it up.
to watch that. Is it Katana Chance?
I
And
think it's
Kaden
yeah.
Carter. Kaden
yeah,
Carter.
Kaden Carter. Yeah.
She smacked. They were like tag teaming for something, and then like she smacked her. She smacked her ass, and it like jiggled. Like I'm like, oh my god, what the hell?
Ass don't jiggle jiggle. It folds.
That was just
Okay.
good sportsmanship.
Why don't we move on? Because we could talk about women's
No,
wrestling.
it's like that. Like I said, like we wouldn't see that on main roster. Like you wouldn't see freaking like the maybe we've seen Charlotte Flair like say tell the fans to kiss her ass, or, like tell the like when she stuck the middle finger up at the people during that one pay-per-view that she did. Like she said all the fans fuck you.
Mm.
I think that was Money in the Bank 2021 or Extreme Rules something.
Where are we?
I don't even know. We're off.
I think it's
We're-
great. I'm
we're-
just
we're on
laughing
the-
because we're off
we're on
on
the
a
same
tangent.
side.
Yeah.
We're talking about women. And
Let's go back to Raw though, because we have a busy schedule, guys. So let's finish
Hey, you
Raw.
guys making me miss SmackDown.
We have Solo Sikoa. Oh, see, I said Solo Sikoa again. You guys are fucking me up.
No, I'm messing up too.
Sikoa with the unified tag team champions, the Usos and Sami Zayn, taking on Angelo Dawkins or Montez Ford. And here are some quick notes from that match. Solo nails a Samoan drop and a belly to belly to Dawkins. Solo hits a running hip attack in the corner, and Dawkins nails a step up enziguri. Sammy argues with Jey Uso, and Solo nails a super kick, and that gets a 2 count. Solo's distracting and yells at Sammy and Jey, and Dawkins rolls him up and gets a 2. Jey yells at Sammy. The two argue at ringside. Dawkins nails a cool dive onto the bloodline. However, when Dawkins rolls back into the ring, he gets met with a spinning Solo, and Solo gets the win. Really not much to talk about here, but I guess you guys can. What do you guys think about Bloodline continuing to reign supreme? Really nothing much here.
I think it's great. They need to reign supreme. I love that the Bloodline is still successful on Raw and SmackDown, and I think it's what's good for business, as they say. So, Carlos, take it away.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Bloodline, they're holding it down, and then like this, like they're making a way like to when Roman's not there, they have the Usos and Sammy and Solo there. So I guess it feels the presence of the Bloodline there. But like we're gonna see Roman on Raw next week. But still, like you can see the little cracks in the Bloodline like happening. But then they always eventually like just they keep winning. We the ones.
Yeah,
Always.
we the ones. You got to acknowledge them.
We the ones.
Well, okay. Yes, there's a lot of ones. Speaking of ones, Edge gives a promo, which, he's just...
I thought that was the main event.
No, there's a promo from Edge, and then
Oh,
we get our main event.
okay.
Let's
I can't
talk
say
quick
it.
about this. No, Edge is the bomb. Fuck y'all. Edge is the bomb. Edge is the
I
main
like
event.
Edge. Hey, why did I get heat? I like
can't.
Edge.
Okay, his little Royal Rumble return was cool, but okay, go home. We don't need you. You keep getting injured. You keep going home and coming back. Then you could just bounce back and forth. No,
I'm sorry, it's not Sasha Banks. We
Yeah.
Yeah, where is Sasha Banks? Didn't she just leave because she was mad? Where is she?
They don't. She knows
Where
her
has
worth.
she been?
She knows her worth.
Where has she been?
She knows her worth, and she's not gonna take shit. She's not gonna take shit from people who don't appreciate her talent.
Wait. Sasha, who again? Because she's been gone. I already forgot about her. Who?
She walked out. She walked out on her job because she knows her worth.
And
She's not gonna take shit from people that don't appreciate her.
Who's the other chick that left with her? Because I forgot about her too. I forgot about both of them.
What's her name exactly? I don't even know who she is. What's her name?
I don't know.
God, right? Who's the other chick? Who's the other chick? I've never heard of her.
Never heard
I know a Naomi. I went to school with her.
You went to school with her?
I mean, the only person I know is Mercedes. The Mercedes.
All I know is Sasha Banks / Mercedes Bernardo.
Well, yeah, I don't know who has a wrestler though, because she hasn't wrestled in over what, like 8 months.
Yeah, why are we talking about Sasha Banks though?
I just want to.
You just love getting on my shit.
Don't blame me. He brought it up.
I brought it up because I wanted to. I wanted to tease you because if we said something about Sasha Banks, I knew that was Carlos's trigger, so I had to do it. That's good
right.
stuff, pal.
Carlos, you can, I'll tell you what his trigger is too, so you guys can trigger each other. Don't mess with Jim Cornette.
Yeah, Jim Cornette's. Yeah, he's one of my favorites.
I like Jim Cornette. I listen to his podcast and all that.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, you two are both fucking Cornette heads. Yeah, he'll be happy. Two people actually like him.
I like Dave Meltzer. I listen to a couple.
You like Dave Meltzer though?
Oh,
I listen to a couple people. I listen to a couple people. Like who do you listen to like religiously?
Probably Cornette, Dutch Mantel.
Wasn't he like a writer for WWE at one point?
He did help.
He also caused the Montreal screw job in his opinion.
Wow. I didn't know that.
There has been some stuff about that, which I forget about.
Can we stop shooting? Can we stop shooting shots at each other? Just finish the show. Because I'm trying to get the SmackDown here. Bye.
So we have an Edge promo. It was a good promo. Edge ready to kick Finn Balor's ass, so he's going to. I'm happy for that. Next week,
you missed the season premiere.
Yep, the season premiere of Raw.
You missed the season premiere of SmackDown.
Oh well, boo-hoo. By the way, Carlos gets it through my provider.
Oh my god! Now all you want to say is it. Oh my god! I bet you if I would have said I can't record, say you would have changed your pass.
Because you want to know what?
You would probably changed the password if I would have said no. So I can't watch.
I'd be going to turn it on.
You would have probably been the pettiest. You're being so petty tonight because you're sick, huh? You're being petty tonight because you're not feeling well. That's no excuse for you to be petty. That's no excuse for you to be petty. Of course you're gonna say 7.
And I'm like, what?
Of course you're gonna say 7 p.m. because you want me to miss SmackDown. And then you knew what you were doing. You knew where you were. Exactly. You could have been like, oh, we can do it tomorrow morning before you go to work. But no, he wants to do Friday night.
Well, Carlos, if you want to watch SmackDown, you can even watch SmackDown.
I'm here now. I already missed like 20 minutes of it. I have no point now.
Well, you have the capacity. I mean, or you could get your own, right? And you could have the capacity. I mean, you could fast forward, rewind, pause with what we have now. You don't even have to watch it from. You can fast forward the commercials. I'm happier than a pig and shit.
Just keep going.
Thank you. Okay, so next week, our season premiere of Raw. We have Roman Reigns. He's going to be showing up again, which we'll be happy to see him. I know Carlos will be happy. We have the WWE United States Champion, Bobby Lashley, defending against Seth freaking Rollins, which will be a burner. Johnny Gargano taking on Austin Theory finally. And we got the 25th anniversary of D-Generation X live in Brooklyn, New York. Excited for that. I'm excited. But let's move on to our main event. A lot of action here, guys. Alexa Bliss with the Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair taking on Iyo Sky with Dakota Kai and Bayley. Here are the quick notes from this one. Bliss nails a Thesz press and drop kick to the face of Iyo. Iyo hits a backbreaker and double knees in the corner, and she misses a moonsault. Bliss hits a DDT and a twisted Bliss. However, damage control tossed Bianca Belair into steps, which distracts Bliss. And then Iyo nails an air raid crash and over the moonsault for 3. Gets a pinfall victory over Bliss. After the match, more action happens. Bayley attacks Bliss, and damage control run a ladder into Bianca. Asuka runs down, and they also attack Asuka with the ladder. They end up kicking a ladder into Bliss's face. And then Dakota Kai hits a big boot in the corner. Bayley hits a rose plant to Belair, and then also to Bliss. And they climb the ladder, and Bayley holds the Raw Women's title in the air. So Bayley sending a message, yo. She's the last one with the Raw Women's title. So what do we think?
I think it's good stuff, man. It makes me want to watch Extreme Rules more. It builds up for that premiere of Raw you were talking about. So I like that Bayley was the last one that had the title, as much as I respect and like Bianca Belair. And I thought the tag match was good. I think it's a good way to end the show. Let the women shine. Let them have their moment, their spotlight. So I was good with it.
Yes, sir. I agree. Women should continue main eventing.
Absolutely.
Maining events. How about you, Carlos? What do you think?
It was a good match. I like the ending to show with the ladder. And I like how they keep many eventing. They've been many eventing for a while, so I like that.
killing the game. Well, let's quickly end this episode. What are your thoughts? Like, what was your favorite moment from this week's episode?
My favorite was probably the Bayley and Bianca. That was some good stuff. I mean,
Yep.
once again, the women, and I like what the Alpha Academy are doing. I've got to give them a lot of props and go with somebody a little bit different, and what Seth Rollins and Riddle and this whole Lashley U.S. title situation. So that's a few examples.
A lot happened in this episode. How about you, Carlos?
I enjoyed the Sami Zayn and Jimmy Uso backstage segment when they were joking around and Jay shows up and then like they start joking with the Street Profits. That was probably my favorite part.
That's right, because they did the whole thing where they made fun of I think Montez Boot, right?
Yeah, I didn't know he was injured. Like when the hell did that happen?
I didn't even know either. I just saw it and I was like,
I didn't
oh.
realize it. No.
It could have been a work also. I mean,
Well,
oh.
I guess for me, my favorite moment was kind of like Tyler, Bianca, and Bayley. I'm excited for that match. I'm excited for Extreme Rules, which is happening this Saturday, tomorrow,
Yeah.
live 8 p.m. Eastern time. What is it, 6 p.m. Pacific?
Probably so. Yeah.
And yeah, it's gonna be on Peacock, the WWE network if you're out of the States. And yeah, guys, thank you for joining me for this episode of Raw. And stay tuned because we'll be back with our Extreme Rules predictions. And yeah, we'll be excited for that. So thank you for joining us. Be safe. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Peace.